election of Counselor Mitchell, who is asked to be excused this evening. We also have members of the staff with us. We welcome the public. We welcome the Utah Military Academy representatives. We're always glad to have you here. We know of the many good things you do in our community, and we appreciate having you here with us. And hope you're on friendly terms tonight. So, I'm going to ask Captain Curtis if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, if we get everybody to stand.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time, it's customary to take a moment of silence. We'd like to take a moment of silence this evening as we remember those who are serving, those who are serving in our military around the nation, here at home, protecting our interests and our many freedoms. We also would like to remember our police and firefighters as they serve. They put themselves in harm's way regularly, and we would ask you to remember them. We would also ask that you remember our city council this evening, that as they make choices and decisions, they might be in the best interest of those who live in this community and work in this community. Now take a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Move next to public comment. This period of time that you're welcome to come forward to the microphone. If you would, state your name. And if you would, try to keep your presentation to not more than about 3 minutes. So it's a chance for you to come forward and share any ideas or concerns that you might have that you'd like to share with the council. Time is yours now.
Good evening, Mayor Searle, City Council. I'm Captain Josh Curtis, instructor over at Utah Military Academy. I missed you guys last year, but I didn't teach government last year. But I'm back to teaching it. Plus, I'm excited to be a captain now and not a lieutenant. We would just like to recognize you. We're here this evening not only for my government cadets to observe government in action, not in action. I realized I should space those two words apart. But we'd also like to recognize you. We have a couple certificates and some pins we'd like to present to Mayor Searle and the City Council on behalf of the Utah Military Academy. And it reads as follows. For your encouragement, dedication, and continual support of our school, our mission, and our desire to create informed and civic-minded cadets. Together, we can make this world a better place with integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Thank you for helping us succeed. And I'd like to present Mayor Searle and the City Council. I have one certificate for the council, but I do have some pins, one of which has somehow been dropped out of my pocket tonight. So I'm going to get another for the mayor or for Mr. Worthen. But may I approach? Well, I can come around to you, sir. Oh, you found it. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Captain Curtis. Again, we thank you, Utah Military Academy, for all that you do. Seeing no others for public comment, move on to presentations and reports. The first is the mayor's report. Just like to publicly thank our fire department for their open house last night, Chief. Those that were there, there was really good turnout.
Yeah, had a pretty good turnout. Don't know how many, but it was better than last year.
Was it? That's good. I know there were a lot of people there, really a bunch, and seemed to be well organized as usual. If those of you from the academy, if you haven't been there, that's a great night. Usually happens in October, and they do everything. They have the Life Flight helicopters come in. They do demonstrations too with some of their heavy rescue equipment, cutting open cars and things, and it's really a great thing you do, Chief. Pass that on to your people, and we sincerely appreciate your efforts because it looked like it was well planned and well carried out, and we'll give him our thanks, and that we appreciate it. For your calendars, everyone is invited to this. We're having a suicide prevention training called QPR. It'll be on October 25th. That's on a Thursday night. It'll be at the Senior Center. Weber County Sheriff's going to put that on. They did it about a year and a half ago in April. It's a real present problem. I think many of you are aware of that. It's all around us, and anytime we have a chance or an opportunity we can help someone, it really behooves us to know what questions to ask and how to follow through, how to persuade them to get help, and then how to refer them for help. But this is good training. It lasts about an hour and a half, and just to invite you all to come to that if you haven't had that experience. I think that's all I've got. Move on to item 2, landslide update. Mr. Worthen.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Since last time we met, I did have a request to the Utah Geological Survey to report tonight. However, due to illness, he was unable to attend, so we've rescheduled him for your next meeting next time. This gentleman's name is Ben Erickson, and I've mentioned him off and on in different reports previous to today. He did take a few pictures, which I did show you in your work session. They're here if anyone else would like to look at them. We'll post these on our website and get this information out on our website as well. Not much movement, but you can see from the photos that it is undermining, as we've mentioned previously, the garage structure of the northernmost home. It does continue to be active. He did indicate from his email today to me that there's been a slight enlargement to the southeast on the scarp area. So it does continue to be active, clearly not as much as it used to be. He did note the vegetation and the sloping, or the material that's sitting down below the scarp is beginning to somewhat stabilize with the vegetation, but there still is water emanating about a third or a little bit slightly higher than a third of the way up the scarp. And it will continue to do so. That water's always been there, but it will continue to come out down below. You can see in this one photo, the Meehan property down below obviously has been inundated by sediments, and Mr. Meehan has routed that water to the north and to the northwest of his property, which has helped, but it still is, there's a lot of sediments and material down at the bottom. And I know they're driving over it, and we see tire tracks on it the other day. Our public works director was there just last week and noted the vegetation growing, but there's still about the similar amount of water emanating from the scarp area or below the scarp. But I'll see if I can get Ben here to give you more further updates as well at your next meeting on the 16th. That's all I have, Mayor.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Worthen? No, you looked at it upstairs. Do you want to pass that down to Steve, maybe to Chief Brinkman? He could let those military academy folks look at those pictures. They might like to see them.
I would make note that we did put the slats and the fencing up there to help kind of the aesthetic issue from the street on there on the street, 600 West. That'll help a little bit, but over time we've got to maybe perhaps look at those properties and see how we can look at their condition. Still continues to be a very dangerous issue, though. That's all I have.
Move on to action items. Action item number 1, consideration of resolution 2018-24. Multiple amendments to the consolidated fee schedule. Mr. Brooks, our city attorney.
Mayor, as I mentioned upstairs, this falls under the business licensing section in our code, and Jackie's kind of spearheaded this thing. I just kind of filled in for her last week in her absence, so I think Chris accidentally put my name on it, but Jackie's probably more informed on some of this to give reasons why some of these are what they are. So,
Do you have any questions for Mr. Brooks at this point? Comments, Mr. Arnold? Did you have?
No, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2018-24 with multiple amendments to the consolidated fee schedule, with the changes that everything remains the same that is below $300, and everything that's above $300 goes to the cap of $300.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion. We have a second. Mrs. Manning, would you poll the council on the resolution, please?
Councilmember Arnold?
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember Ellis?
Aye.
It's unanimous in favor. Thank you. Move on to the second action item, consideration of resolution 2018-25 concerning the authorization of the Governor's Office of Energy Development to conduct the commercial property assessed Clean Energy District, CPAS district within Riverdale City. Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, before you is a program that's administered by the State Office of Energy Development through the Governor's Office. It's a low-cost, long-term financing option for energy efficiencies that you would find in buildings. It can entail everything from lighting to solar to water conservation projects on commercial buildings or similar type buildings. We would be responsible for advertising this to the businesses in our community that's available. That's pretty much the only requirement that we have as a community. It is operated by the OED, part of the Governor's Office. We do have to enter into an agreement that allows them to have these types of long-term financing liens that are placed upon the building for the modernization of their energy use, and helps them with their project costs. We were going to have a representative. I know Josh is here. Josh brought it a little bit to our attention as well after we received a phone call from the state wondering if we were interested in the program, which we were. And by opting in, Riverdale City simply allows the CPACE district to handle those types of long-term type loans and lien and do outreach and project development within our community. I think it's a great program. Anything we can do to upgrade buildings to save energy and save costs that they can be helped with in their installation of these types of systems in their building, I think is a good program. That's all I have, Mayor. If there's any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Arnold?
Do they have, on our advertising requirement, do they give us the brochures or whatever, and then when somebody comes in for a building permit or something like that, we would give it to them, or?
It would be similar.
Is that the plan, or?
Yeah, it would probably be similar to this this brochure that was in your packet.
So you can do it electronically or something like that, just so there's really no cost to the city to.
Or I can print them off and then have some printouts ready and just make sure Jeff Woody has them available when we have a building permit come in. Yeah.
I wonder if it would be a good idea to send them out to our major business.
Well, and we do have to have a roundtable and invite businesses, so we could do that as part of an annual roundtable. Provide them those documents at that time and talk about it.
It'd be good to make them aware of it.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Arnold?
I would make a motion to approve Resolution 2018-25 as stated in the packet.
Second.
Yeah, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Mrs. Manning, would you again poll the council on this resolution, please?
Councilmember Henson.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellis.
Aye.
Councilmember Arnold.
Aye.
It's unanimous in favor. Thank you. Move on to discretionary business for this evening. Any discretionary items, Mr. Arnold?
I just want to mention the fire hydrant call that I got from Kim up on 4904 South 525 West. Went up and talked to her yesterday, had a complaint about her fire hydrant. Chief Shawley all over it, so I want to commend him, and it's a wonderful thing when you have a complaint from one of the residents and we can jump on it like that. So I just want to commend him and Sean and everybody involved to take care of that.
What was the problem with it?
What's the problem?
Yeah, what was it?
So the stem on the top was loose, and so whenever they turned it on, it shot water all over the place and caused all kinds of problems. Chief Shawley said there's actually a requirement that can't happen. So they're fixing the fire hydrant there in her front yard.
Good.
So she was concerned that when they turn the fire hydrant on, that with the water coming out of the top, it wouldn't have enough pressure coming out to the hose. And Chief Shawley mentioned that it's also a danger to the firefighter who's turning it on. So if they're getting sprayed and getting covered in water, that if they're in the winter, it's cold, or they go into a fire, they're actually steamed if they're wet. So it's a good thing that they're jumping on it, and the Public Works is supporting the fire department in that aspect. So
That's
just
good.
wanted to
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief, for getting a look at any other discretionary items. Mr. Ellis?
I'd just like to compliment the chief on the activity last night. I know the mayor mentioned it. What I especially appreciated was the fact he had so many activities for kids to get them involved. Having several grandkids over there, appreciate that. They held on to their hat when the helicopter came landing in. So appreciate all the work that you did and putting that together and making it an educational experience for members of the community.
Thank you. Any other items?
Yeah.
That, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for being here.
I didn't see you there. Were you there?
Yeah, I came right at